Clemson's architectural makeup is, like any large institution, pretty eclectic.
Although lacking the visual appeal of other major universities, Clemson's architecture combines history with functionality to make it among the most captivating.
It's grown incrementally, and that's really evident in the architectural character here. You can see, just walking around campus, you can recognize eras of development, each one separable from all the others.
Though rich with history, Clemson's architectural development is far from complete, evident by the recent addition of the Core and Douthat Hills campuses.
I mean, we've been through an amazing building campaign just in the last 5-6 years.
Here I am at Clemson University, where an academic dream became reality. Upon his death in 1888, Thomas Green Clemson cast a vision for an institution that more than a century later has become larger than he could have possibly imagined. In 1891, the first building of what would become Clemson College was built, starting the Clemson legacy. Now, 128 years later, this building stands as one among 134. The often overlooked architecture style here at Clemson creates an entirely unique persona that no other college has come even close to replicating.
But here, you've left behind the whole notion of style. It really is a driving force rather than something applied.
Starting off as Clemson A&M being the premier agricultural college here in South Carolina, many of the first buildings here on campus fulfilled that purpose. Hardin Hall fulfilled that purpose by being the main moneymaker in developing fertilizer, which helped keep the soil producing and the farmers collecting.
It's a Victorian building. Hardin Hall, same thing.
Godfrey was built as a textile mill and served as the state's official textile school. Over time, the building grew to serve as the home for so many departments, such as the military science department, geology, graphic communications, and more. The main hall, now known as Tillman Hall, was built after the clock towers at Georgia Tech, Auburn, and Winthrop. And it shows how the earliest structures of the early architecture days were mainly built for simple functionality and cost-effective purposes.
Old Main, the original Old Main, was built by a firm named Bruce and Morgan. Alexander Bruce and Thomas Morgan, and they had a long history of building those kind of in one building institutions. But they built the main building for Georgia Tech, they built the main building for Auburn, they built it for Winthrop, for Converse College here, and it's variations on the same building that Tillman Hall is now.
After the construction of the original 5 academic buildings on campus, there came Serene, Sykes, Riggs, Fike, Long, Wanamaker, Norris, Donaldson, Bradley, and Bowen Hall. The last 5 of those buildings make up what's now known as the Greek Quad, and they were all designed by Clemson famous architect Rudolph Lee.
And so Rudolph Lee's style was, and this is how he described it, it was Tuscan influenced. In other words, he's looking not to Rome, but he's looking to Italy, definitely. He's looking for a style of architecture that is simultaneously classical, simultaneously academic, meant to inform students, and also for this climate.
As Clemson looked to expand following World War II, cost and functionality became a major factor, without concern for architectural structure. Brackett Hall was completed in 1951 along with the Clemson House and McAdams Hall. Each of these drifted from Lee's vision of Tuscan and moved to modern, and as many of us would say, boring, boxy buildings. Harlan McClure took over as head architect after Lee, and in doing so, focused on a Beaux-Arts architectural philosophy.
This kind of instruction was still very strong here in the U.S., and Beaux-Arts had a certain calling. A building had a style, and that building style was appropriate to that building's function. So an educational building, buildings for an educational institution, should be buildings that taught you something just by the way they were designed. They taught you what classicism was or what higher ideals were. They felt that architecture could elevate you.
This theme of functionality has led to buildings such as Core and Hendricks and Douthat being built for specific purposes. Over the 128-year history of Clemson's architecture, so many time periods and styles have been incorporated to make Clemson inherently unique.